So that's one difficulty, because experience always appear with this polarity, and this polarity will always, the mind will have preferences of everything. You know, if any experience, it will always judge and will say, this is good, this is bad. I'm happy, I'm not happy. It will always judge everything that appear. And this is the manufacturing of duality. And then that's the sensitivity that we need to have, because it's healthy and it's natural to seek happiness, joy, and this this longing for the source, for life, for God in Himself, and to dive into it in and just enjoy it. That's natural impulse of everything. Everything want to go back to the source. The confusion is when experience appear, there is an overlapping within our own self, like a dream. When you dream, there is only your mind, and there is nothing in conflict. But there's a dream appear, and the dream seem to create separation. That's the polarity, right? And seemingly, you are dreaming, so there is no image, nothing. Your mind, and suddenly you have a sun, so there is light and there is darkness. There is people, so there is you and there is me. You are objects, so there is matter and there is consciousness. So it creates this polarity in the dream also. And that's where the confusion starts to arise, because suddenly it's like, oh, okay, so I want to be happy, so I want a specific situation to make me happy. I want enlightenment. I want to have a healthy body. I want to be young again. I want this, I want that. Or, which is the same, the rejection. I don't want this, I don't want that. I don't want this pain. I don't want this partner. I don't want this disease. But both the happy dream and the nightmare are an appearance within your mind. So the dream itself is not really the issue. The issue doesn't come from the dream. The issue comes from that within which the dream is appearing. And that's the same here. The issue is not the person as it is, or the world, or society, or earth, or the universe, or whatever you believe it's happening here. The issue is to understand within which all of this is appearing, and what is the nature of that. And we are just very lucky, because the nature of that is happiness, and is all-encompassing, and is love, and is whatever word you want to use. So anytime we are distracted with problems, we struggle. We cannot deny that they are meaningful to us. But we have to be aware that they are some kind of distraction from from what is really happening. Just like when you dream and you are afraid of the tiger that will eat you, you are distracted by the tiger. But you're not really distracted in the sense that it is your dream. But if you are distracted to the point that you start to be afraid of the tiger, then the implication will be that you are going to die, or you are going to feel pain, or you are going to feel this and that. But this is not really what is going on. The problem is not the tiger. The problem is that you don't understand that you are dreaming. You don't perceive it. You don't believe it yourself. I thought the process is very, very intimate, because we are, in a way, we are very alone in this discovery, because we can't believe anyone. And even if someone tell you something, like I do here or somewhere else, maybe it will not work for you. Or maybe, so you really you are on your own, in the sense that you have to be sensitive and intelligent to really explore what you are hearing or reading. Otherwise, it's really a theory. But if you start to really apply and feel and see in your life, and you will see that, oh yeah, that's when I start to apply those ideas really concretely in my relationship, in my life, with my thoughts, with my sensation, with my perception, things start to change. And that's very interesting. So I'm here to really support you in that, to support your own exploration of yourself, because this is a self-realization. You have to realize by yourself what you are. And I'm supporting this with this group, with this space. If there is any question on this topic, I'm very welcome to speak. I want to remind you that there is no lower question or higher question. There is no hierarchy in anything. What is appearing to you, what is meaningful to you, it is meaningful to you, and you cannot deny the importance of it. So don't try to mute yourself or to pretend that you are not having. Try to look good. Yeah, Doris.
I understand intellectually what you're saying about our true nature and the white canvas and all that. But when there's a lot of conditioning and psychological interference, it's very hard to see true nature because it's so obscured by the psychological, and it takes up all the bandwidth in it takes up so much space in the mind and the body.
Yeah, it's true that there is what often I call imprint. That is, this is, or what you say, the conditioning, right? But the person is not conditioned. The person is the conditionment. So one way you can approach this in a very direct way, and that is to say, the darkness of the screen is appearing on the whiteness of the canvas. So in a way, there is beauty in every expression, in every experience that is appearing. So anytime I'm struggling with experience, I have to be honest, I look at it and say, okay, this is not comfortable, I'm feeling comfortable. You said, okay, there is thought and there is sensation that's feeling uncomfortable. But to start to begin to be open to the possibility that the interpretation that I'm having of the situation is inaccurate. Even if all of my senses tell me the opposite. Just like when you go to our how you call this Russian train, that goes up and down, and what do you call them?
A roller coaster?
Yeah, exactly. When you go to a roller coaster, we experience death, the fear of death, because our body is saying, I'm going to die here, right? We're just going up and down, and there is no gravity, and there is a floor. But even if our information is telling us I'm going to die, something in us is higher and say, no, you are safe. You can enjoy the fear. You can enjoy the fear of death in the roller coaster. When you go to our, so when you do best jumping, or when you do all of this. And in some situation you can't, but some other you can, right? So everyone has some kind of limit to that. But often the the way you can start is really to open yourself to the possibility that the interpretation that your mind is doing of the situation is inaccurate.
And what's the accurate?
What is accurate?
What is the accurate interpretation?
That everything is perfect.
So everything's a manifestation of our true nature, right? It's not really separate.
No.
It's
But
not.
can you find a separation in your experience? That's very concrete. Show me a gap in your experience. Show me a separation. Can you find one?
A separation from what?
I don't know. You tell me, but you ask me, but is there really no separation? But I'm telling you, yeah, what between what? Tell me.
Between true nature and phenomena, between the absolute and the relative.
Okay, I understand this conceptually, but right now, your direct experience, do you agree that often we can start to say, yeah, but of course there are objects out there, and I'm separated from this object, right? And I'm telling you, but there's no separation. So what I'm telling is the impression that you are having of the interpretation that you are having of the experience of perception is inaccurate. Maybe useful, but is inaccurate in essence.
So it's all one thing. Everything is just one thing. The experience and the canvas.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be there is no there is the image of the dream is it's very powerful for exactly this struggle. When you dream, do you remember a dream that you had right now? Do you remember one?
Yeah.
So clearly, because you can remember, you can say, of course, there was a dream with object and people and situation and event, right? And emotional reaction and good and bad and all of it, right? Except sensation. Otherwise, there was everything. But do you agree that the dream is happening inside your mind? Yes, it's obvious to you, right? So the dream was a limitation happening within the infinite possibility that your mind can provide. So you dream of something, like you dream of being on a Zoom and there is a red bottle. So you are dreaming this, right? But this is in your mind. If I dream that I'm in a Zoom with a red bottle, the Zoom, the bottle, and the impression that I am a perceiver within a room, witnessing all of this within a body, is a superimposition into a mind that has no limit. In fact, it is because the mind is completely have no quality, is completely pure and transparent, that is allowing everything to arise within it. So even if when I'm having a dream, do you agree that if I dream maybe of a red bottle in my dream, right? I dream of that. When I woke up, I realized, yeah, but there were no physical red bottle there, that it was made up by my mind. So that's one of the evidence that is showing us that you can have an experience of an object and a perceiver. But that does not mean that there is an object or a perceiver. Or one way you can say that is the bottle and the perceiver is the mind. There is no two things in if I dream of a bottle. And the mind is so powerful that I can even dream of people. Suddenly there is people in my dream and I interact with them. Sometimes I'm a victim of those people. And I woke up and this tiger or this person did that to me and I was a victim. But were you or were you not? No, you were both. You were the victim and you were the one that was doing whatever. Because both was the whole situation was appearing within your mind. So from that's the perspective that I'm proposing here.
Yeah, it all intellectually makes sense, but I still don't feel the happiness that's intrinsic to the white canvas. I still feel the unhappiness of conditioning. So even though it's all one, it doesn't. I don't like it because I don't feel the truth. I'm not in touch with the truth of reality.
From my perspective, if you are having a human experience, you will feel some kind of distance anyway.
Right.
So right from the get-go, I will just dissipate the imagination expectation of what will it be when. Don't worry, when the body that is there will die, you will discover what is there. You don't have to rush into that. Everything is fine. Now you have to enjoy. This is an opportunity.
But I don't enjoy it.
Yeah, but that's it. That's the lack of sensitivity. So it's not a judgment. It's not to put a judgment or that you did something wrong personally. No, there's nothing about that. There's nothing wrong. Nothing, but just like a baby cannot do things because he's a baby. You know, he doesn't have to do things. So that's fine. You know, and there is an unfoldment that is present.
It's very slow.
It is not, because that's why I try to have a direct engagement. Otherwise, we can shift very fast into therapy, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but that's not what I'm trying to propose here, right? The difference here is you have to really engage directly with your experience, which is what is when you feel suffering or whatever it is. How does it show up in your experience?
It shows up in unhappiness in my mind and in my body.
Yeah, well,
yeah, it doesn't
so
feel.
it's a thought.
No, it's a feeling. It doesn't feel good. My body feels heavy. It feels tight. It's not happy, and the thoughts are not happy with that either. It's both.
Yeah, that's why I often start with the nature of thoughts.
Oh.
And I start with time.
Mm.
Because when we don't understand really that time is thought, it's not that you have thought about time. The sense of time is the appearance of thought. Do you see this clearly? Time is thought, and thought is time. It's not two different things. So whenever you have a sense of time, is because there is a sense of, there is overlapping, there is appearance of thinking in your experience directly. And the more you see that time is appearing now, so time is appearing within eternity. And the more you see this, you will see that your suffering, the difficulty that you are having, will be less intense, because you are not putting a pain for 35 years in the future until I die. No, you're putting, I feel pain now. That's okay, that's not comfortable. Okay, what can I do? Oh, what's the pain is here? Okay. It's very different from, oh, I will live all my life with this, and tomorrow what will I do tomorrow? And then blah, 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 blah. No, it's just, okay, I feel pain. You can be amazed about how much pain you can live and still be happy. And I'm not a witness of this, but there is many other witnesses that show that they live in situations that you can not even imagine, and they express so much beauty at the same time. So pain is not the issue. The issue is thought. And the first thing that thought is doing is putting everything in time. So and the more uncomfortable it feels in sensation, and the more the times start to stretch. That's why I tell you before. When you say things like it take a long time, I'm stuck here since a very long time, and time, and I'm gonna die, and I'm old, and all of this story. You are in thought, and you are in one of the layer that is time. And the more you see that you are always now, always now, always now, always now, it will start to reduce the impression of time, because you start to disentangle yourself from thought, from the thinking activity. And it's not that thinking stop, that you see that it is not that way. And the more you disentangle yourself with this, you will see that many things collapse. And a lot of things collapse. That's why I start with my online course. I start with this, because that's often the, if you don't see this clearly, after you kind of drive this confusion deeper. So, okay, right now there is a very intense sensation. Okay, this is very different than I'm suffering, and I'm suffering from 30 years, and and tomorrow it will be the same. And what do I do? I'm a victim. I'm a victim of the universe. That's a very different approach to start. I'm a victim, save me, than this is very, very uncomfortable. What can I do with that? It's very different. So really start to see that at any time, it is now it's eternity. Now it's not a moment that is moving through time. Time is not linear. Yeah. Now it's eternity, and with it is eternity, there is the appearance of time. It's like when you dream, the dream can be long, the dream can be short, but the sense of time in your dream it's appearing within something that is timeless. But I understand that thought it's very hypnotic, and we like it. We like our drama, and I like my drama. I'm not saying that I'm different from you, or that I'm just like you. Yeah.
I have a question about when you said your own personal process, you suffered for a couple of years. for a couple of years, you just suffered a lot. And then you met a teacher that kind of opened a door. And I was just wondering if that was Ilona Cusante or whatever her name was that the teacher?
No, it was Peter Brown.
Oh,
He died, but he was really amazing.
oh, too bad he
I
died. I
never
heard,
could.
yeah,
Yeah, he died.
yeah. What were you going to say? You never could what?
Many of the teachers that really supported me deeply, they're not very famous, and
Oh,
I never could understand why.
uh-huh. Who are they? I want to know.
Huh?
I want to know who they are. I might recognize their name.
You will not know them, but Peter
I,
Brown, you can find his teaching. The others, you will not find their teaching.
oh, I heard of Peter Brown before
Yeah, yeah.
because I've been around a long time. Yeah. Oh. So you find the right person at the right time.
The the person from which you feel that you are learning something, it's a messenger. It represents something even deeper. So even if you met someone and you feel out of healing and power or whatever, do not believe that it's the person that is healing you. You are healing yourself. But just the person is often allowing your own being to relax. But right now there's nothing in your experience that is imposing you suffering. If you project your own healing, your own process into someone, you will start to enter into a, a seeker and guru dynamic. There's nothing wrong with that, but there is a lot of issue with this, and there is a very few people who can hold strongly and healthy the position of guru. Very few, and I never met one. But I don't want to say no one because who knows, But I never met personally one, and the one that I read about, it's not very beautiful. So who knows? But don't project the responsibility of your process onto someone. You are responsible of your own unfoldment, and everyone that is appearing is supporting you. So yes, they are great teachers, they are great texts, they are great books, they are great techniques, they are great everything, and whatever is there, use it. But remember that whatever you use, the teacher is always the same, which is life itself, presenting a different way. Always life itself. Oh, that's a great teacher. But see through the layers of, you know, through the layers of identification, not only in yourself, but in the other. When, yeah, when you're with someone and you start to feel a huge light, the light is here. It's you. You are the light with which you are perceiving the light. And into that, there is a seemingly teacher that's appearing. But if you start to project the cause or the need or the projection or the necessity or all of this into someone, you are entering into a very specific dynamic that can be great and can be difficult. But there's nothing wrong with this, but just be aware of that. And I think that's an issue because anytime you put the responsibility of something into an object or a person, then you are depending of this person. I'm very happy because my wife, well, then my wife is the source of my happiness. So then I've projected my happiness into an object. Then I start to believe that the object is the source of my happiness. And then I start to feel anxiety and fear because what if he left? And what if she doesn't love me? And what if this? And then in fact it's not really happiness. I'm entering into fear, into obsession, into desire, into anxiety. And exactly the same with teachers. Ah, I met him, he's really great. Yeah, okay. But when you start to depend, when your happiness and the presence of God start to depend of this person, well, then you give money, and then what if he doesn't love me? What if he doesn't call me? And what if he asks sex for me or labor or whatever? When you say no, and you enter into some very strange dynamic there. So it's great. There's great people out there, and there's very normal people, but don't forget that this is your process, and this is about you, and you are the one exploring it.
Thank you.
Hi, David. I have a question.
Yeah, right.
Um, oh boy. So, yeah, there's a lot there in kind of what you've been talking about. And I think, for me, I'm quite tired of my personal drama. I understand that on some level, I'm sure that I'm attached to it at some point, but I feel also quite ready to let it go. Um,
Mm.
in a way, I'm having trouble getting in touch with the canvas, the white canvas, and I am tired of the movie that's being projected on the screen. And so
Mm.
there's some frustration there. And so kind of a lot of my current practice right now is, you know, um, focused on sort of the centerlessness of experience, which I understand is like, I guess the way that I understand it is kind of like the basically the illusion of the self, trying to see through the illusion of the self, recognizing that, I'm not the movie that's playing on the screen. I'm the canvas that's aware of, that's
Mm.
aware of the movie that's playing, I guess. But like what Doris is saying, like I feel like I can understand this conceptually. I can understand when people describe it, and I feel strongly that it's true. But there's something about it that I can't get in touch with. Um, and so, so it can be quite frustrating. And it is, and so I'm not sure, like I'm sitting here when I feel this frustration, I'm like, okay, well, who is it that's feeling this frustration? It still feels like it's me. It still feels like I'm the one,
Yeah,
feeling this, like, and like there's the understanding that, oh, the frustration is just happening, and nobody owns it. But in my experience, it still feels very much like I am trying to understand something and I'm frustrated that I don't understand it. And I recognize, the I guess the theoretical falseness of my experience, of the overlay that I'm putting, the movie that I'm getting wrapped up in when I describe it this way. I just don't understand how to stop the fixation. Um,
yeah.
and it's frustrating because it's like the very desire to want to solve this problem is the self, is the reinforcing the self, like the self is the one that wants to do this. I don't know. It just feels like an unsolvable problem. It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
And I don't like I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your question. I don't think that approaching problems that way it's very functional. To me, it doesn't work because it doesn't work very well for me. Why? Because often when I ask who am I, who is feeling this, it's often because there is something that I don't like. Because I'm sure that if you are with a beautiful woman in bed, you're not asking who is feeling this joy. No, you're just enjoying, right? So it's so it's when it's unpleasant that you say, oh, who is that? So often, even if exploring who you are is very beautiful, it's a completely valid process. But often we want to do it because we feel an emotion that we don't like. So we try to we start the investigation with the hope that we will avoid this unpleasant sensation and emotion. So in fact, we are in denial. We enter by dividing our experience. I don't want this. So if I find that I'm not here, I will never feel this. So we enter. It's very violent, even if it is wrapped up around spirituality and beauty, but it's very violent within our own experience, because we are saying, this is horrible. I want this out of my life. And often, because often it's people, right? And let's be honest. Often there is two things that is make our life unbearable. It's people and sensation in the body. There are the two main things that if you look a little bit, that's where a lot of trouble come from. But now, the way I approach it personally is the understanding that when I'm having an emotion, first, the cause is not in the situation, right? So if I'm feeling angry, sad, fear, the fear doesn't come from this situation. Even if someone is putting a gun at me and I start to feel fear, the fear doesn't come from the guy, doesn't come from the gun, doesn't. This situation has nothing to do with the emotion. I straight away do my best. I'm not saying that it's obvious, and there is always a situation that maybe feel more easy than others, but that's the sensitivity that I'm approaching event. And then I feel something, because there is something in me that is rejecting, that is assuming that things should be different. So I start to be in touch with my assumption or my beliefs. That, for example, there were the neighbor that were very noisy last Sunday night, right? So there is something with neighbor being noisy that is triggering things in me. Okay, others, money and things I don't really mind, but some kind I feel that I could have a concern and be at peace, but noisy neighbor, it's terrible to me. So first, there is no logic. Why? Because what is the story? My struggle doesn't come from the story. Well, first, this is not a logical process. So there is no. That's why I said at the beginning, whatever is happening for you, it's important to you. Well, that's where the exploration is. There is no need to deny, this is not important. I don't want something. No. Okay, take this. This is fine. Whatever it's appearing, this is what you have to explore and to work with, to be sensitive with. And so then you see you're an assumption and your own sensitivity. People shouldn't be that noisy. People shouldn't live that way of life. People shouldn't listen that way of music. People shouldn't behave that way. People shouldn't do that. People shouldn't do this. And that's the thought. That's the outpouring of thought and assumption. Yeah, that is there. And then on the same part, there is just a somatic reaction to it, some emotion that is different, that is appearing. So the first step is to create space, right? You disentangle yourself from the situation, so you free people the most of your ability, and you say, okay, you are free to do whatever you want. That's fine, you know. You can do noise, you can shoot me, you can kill me, you can steal my money, you can steal my wife, you can do this. That's fine. This is not why I'm struggling. The struggle doesn't come from the event, the seeming event. The struggle comes from here within me, from thoughts, perception, and sensation. There is something here that I'm struggling with. And then you watch, and there is the thought. Life should be that way. Life shouldn't be that way. People should act that way, right? My life should be this way. And it's not that way because this person, that's thought. Okay, that's the layer of thought. Then there is the layer of sensation with it, which is emotion. When I say emotion, often I'm talking with the raw emotion. Our raw emotion, psychologically, it's very neutral. Like you can feel an emotion without any story about it. You can feel rage, you can feel sadness, you can feel fear without story. So there is a texture of emotion that is raw. It really doesn't have thought really in it. Just like some kind of sensation, but it's not really a sensation. It's very difficult to put it in categories, but it's an event that you can feel, right? You don't know why, but there is something coming up and there's a raw sensation. There's a story, and there is a seemingly event of it. And often just come like one package, right? That's completely compact and like very, very dense. And if you take any matter or metal and you compact it, it starts to become very, 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 very hot. That's the same with our, that's the same with our experience. If you take perception, thought, and emotion, and you start to compact it, that is to by Heidi, and you start to compact it more and more, it will start to become more and more unbearable. And the more you create space, the more you will have sensitivity, and you will see that first the person or whatever situation is not causing you the emotion. So you can really free the people, free the event. And then you see that the assumption of thoughts, you can see, well, if it's happening, but you know, who am I? Thought is playing God, you know. I shouldn't have a cancer. I shouldn't die at 38 years old. My child shouldn't do this. All of this, but this is really playing God. So you see that thought, it's constantly playing God and having assumption and try to control life, to control everything. And with the best of your ability, be with the raw emotion, tactilely, without thinking, just allow to be with that. Be with that. Frustration comes from I should have something that is not here, or I shouldn't have something that is here. Yeah, I should have this object, whatever it is, a relationship, a set of consciousness, an object, or an emotion, and I shouldn't have this sensation, this emotion, this object, whatever. That's where frustration comes from. But frustration comes from thoughts directly.
Yeah. I mean, in my case, I think the belief is that I should understand that the self is an illusion, and I can't. I can't break through it, you know? And that's I don't know. That's a frustrating one. That I mean that really feels for me like that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's also a hard one to give up on, to say like, all right, well, maybe I just will never understand that because uh, because I guess I've given it a lot of importance. It's very much something that I'm seeking.
Yeah, but you see, the madness of the mind, the madness of the finite mind, that it wants to experience its own absence.
Yeah.
And that's an impossibility.
Mm.
So there are different approaches. The one that I find that is interesting is to say, why do you want to experience whatever you that you're speaking? Why? What do you think you will have with that? Because if you are completely and fully happy, like you have so much joy that you can't even understand what is anything, you are in a full bliss, you wouldn't say, I want to experience the end of myself or whatever. So why do you want that?
Mm. I mean, because I feel that I'm suffering, like I have this suffering or this feeling of inadequacy that or no, I would like to be rid of. Yeah, that's
Yeah, exactly. You want to get rid of something.
yes, that's true. I mean, that is absolutely true. That is the situation that I'm in, though. I don't really know how to approach things. It does feel like I'm stuck.
Yeah, well, first, be honest with yourself. You
Mm.
don't want to find the unity of the universe. You want to get rid of this inadequacy that you feel.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, but be honest with that at first. Within yourself.
Okay.
I'm not playing with words or pretending that you hide it. I'm just
Oh,
saying,
yeah, yeah.
like say, don't say, oh, I want to find. You can say, okay, this is very uncomfortable. This is very uncomfortable. What and the technique that you had because you heard it. Oh, if I discover what I am, I will stop feeling this. It is
Mhm.
not really working, right? So now you're asking, but now what do I do with this sense of inadequacy? Well, you can start to feel. That's what I spoke before. Start to see with the other way you can approach it is with the reference, right? We it works with everything, with every story, but with you specifically with inadequacy, you can see I should be that way. I should react in a different way. I should speak in a different way. For me, I should speak a better English. I should be able to have to be more eloquent. I should use better words. Yeah. But from where is the ground on which you are you are holding those expectations? What is the ground for that? Right now I'm speaking, okay, and under the impression that I'm not speaking a good English, right?
Mm.
So if I can say I feel inadequate right now, so now I feel inadequacy, okay. Who is judging? And the judge, what is the judge using as a standard, as a reference point? Where is the reference to judge this English right now?
I mean, I'll say that, the judgment is thought, really. The thought is kind of, to say like this is not good enough is the thought or the belief. As far as the question of mm, f- what are we being compared to? I don't I don't know. I mean, I think it's not so much a comparison to something better so much it is as it is, at least for me, the feeling of like not good enough, like this is not what I want to be. You know what I mean? It's almost just a feeling of discomfort with where I am.
Yeah, but how do you know where you are?
I mean, it's mostly like thinking about situations that like thinking about my situation and why it's not why it isn't what I want. I don't know. Maybe I don't understand the question too well, but
Well, I'm trying to point out that
mm,
thought is the one that is judging the situation.
mhm,
In fact,
yeah.
thought is the one that is doing the interpretation to begin with.
Mhm,
Thought is the one that thinks that there's people and there's this and there's society and there's that. So this is thought, right?
mhm,
It is thought that is judging the situation. It is thought that is telling you that you should have something else. And it is thought that is giving you the solution. So
mm,
everything is in thought. That's why I say the issue is not out there, the people. When you see this, that the resolution is not out there either. The resolution of the seeming problem that you are having come from seeing the nature of thoughts, the quality. So thought is manufacturing the event. It is manufacturing the. It is judging the event as it is interpreting, and it is giving you solution. So it is the policeman, the judge,
mhm.
and the jailer.
I'm not sure what do you mean when you say it's giving me the solution. I feel like it feels like there's no solution. That's part of the frustration for me.
Yeah, it give you solution that doesn't work
Mm,
because it wants
I
you
see.
it keep you trapped within its own paradigm.
Mhm.
Just you know
Yeah. So in this case, just to make sure I understand, the thought is telling me once I understand the illusion of the self, like that's the solution. But no matter how hard I've been trying, like I'm not able to make that work. Is that kind of
exactly. It's that
Mhm,
thought is telling you, I will I will let you go of my jail when you convince me, when you show me, that there is no
mhm.
self. But it will never be convinced because the presence of thought is the hiding of the unity. You know, when you watch movie and you see those those big bosses of mafia and everything, and there are guys that come and they ask for money and he give money, but after he makes sure that they are never in a position to give the money back. Even when they have the money, they send a friend that this kid has, take the money, and then he come back. What happened with the money? Where is the money? But he took it, but he will never admit it. Why? Because he want this guy to be in debt with him forever. right? That's the same with the ego, with this thought. It keeps you trapped in its own loop constantly. The only difference is that you are already free from it. The difference is to start to, okay. Thought is limited. Thought cannot understand anything, and thought does not understand emotion either, right? When you feel love, tell me what is, give me a definition of love.
I mean, the best that I can do would be to say that you care about somebody the same way that you would care about yourself, or you care about them more than you care about yourself. I don't know.
Strange, right? Isn't that strange? So you see,
What?
that thought is describing everything, but it does not understand anything itself. But love, it's a direct experience that you're having. But you cannot explain it with words. But nevertheless, it's an actual fact of experience. And we don't need to use love, because can you even describe me a sensation? So, what are you talking about? Yeah, but it is clearly here. Like my arm is clear, I can clearly feel my hand. It's an absolute fact that my hand is here. But thought does not understand it. Because, yeah, the thought understands the hand only as an image and as a description of bones and things and tissue and nails and skin and blood. But that's not my direct experience of the hand. So there is an experiencing, an understanding that is not within the loop, within the paradigm of thinking. So when you say, I don't understand, I say, yeah, the thought will never understand. But you can engage it directly with yourself. And that's the open door. When you feel your own being, you don't need thought to feel that you are present, do you?
I don't think so. I'm assuming that I don't. Yeah.
But right now,
Mm-hmm.
are you present?
Yes.
Really check. Take your moment, just, are you present and are you aware?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you need thoughts to be sure? When I
think
ask this question to confirm, to, yes, I'm present, yes, I'm aware, did you go into thinking or did you go somewhere else?
so. The reason why I hesitate is I mean, I think that thought is just such a integral part of my experience that it like sneaks into everything. And so
Yeah.
I think that's mixed in with doubt as well. So when you ask me this question, I'm like, I know the answer should be like, no, of course, like I know I'm aware of my own being without thinking, but I don't know. I guess I still really feel like I have to check closely.
Yeah. But that's beautiful. This is the inquiry. Check.
Mm.
Be sensitive.
Who's checking? The mind?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, whoever is responding to the question, and it feels, I don't know, it feels like it could be the mind.
I'm
But the mind
interjecting.
is not an object. The mind is not an object.
Mm.
The mind is an imagination. So youth is a mind, but what you're talking about? You're talking about thought again.
I've experienced what Ray's been talking about, and it leads me to ask a question. When you say check, or when you say when you're talking about thoughts and going round and round and how thought is trying to come up with a solution and those things, you'll say, look there, or you'll say, investigate. These are terms that then who investigates? Aren't thoughts investigating? That trips me up. Who's investigating? When you say investigate that, immediately I go to it. It almost sounds like you're saying, think about that further or evaluate that further. And that's where it gets confusing for me, because isn't evaluating a function of the mind? I mean, a function of thought? And investigating, isn't that a function of thought thinking? Who investigates? Before you see through the veil, before you are aware of awareness, before that happens, you're on an edge of wanting this experience that you're trying to understand with the same brain that keeps you locked into thought. Is that not true?
This is your question. Yeah. So
Yes.
that was very similar to where Ray was at the beginning, that he said, yeah, who is there? Is there? That's a valid exploration. That's a very different one. I'm not saying that it's not. So to some people it works. I don't think this approach it's the difficulty with this who is exploring that very fast. If you start to do this, language become useless very straight away, because who is doing anything? So straight away everything is fine. So whatever you are telling me of, everything is fine. Who is there to have pain? Who is there to suffer? Okay, we can spend an hour and a half like this if this is you feel that is useful. I don't think it's very useful. I think it's more useful to understand that. I speak about the dream again. When you dream, there is maybe a character in the dream that is having an experience, right? Now, if I ask you who, and I woke up and I remember, oh, I make a dream, and I was Peter in Paris, and I woke up from that. And I think, oh, I had an experience of Peter in Paris. So who had the experience of the dream? Peter or I? David or I? Who? Tell me, Patty.
You.
You, right?
Yes.
So if I remember, someone told me in my dream that I am dreaming. Okay, so there is Sophia in my dream. I remember my dream. I was Peter in Paris, and Sophia told me that I was dreaming. Now tell me, who is Sophia?
You.
To whom is Sophia talking to?
You.
Where is Paris appearing?
You.
So when I woke up and I speak, I'm always talking about me, but I'm using different words, and it doesn't really matter
Okay.
if I talk about Paris, I talk about this, I talk about that.
Okay.
It's to express something, but it's not
I
really
see.
happening. So if it is useful to really vanish completely, Peter, Sophia, there's no Paris, there's no here, there's no room, there's no Zoom, there's no hand, there's no people, there's no one, there's no one. Okay, that's fine. I'm okay. If this really work for you, and I know that some people do that, then that's perfectly fine. But the first understanding is understanding that when I'm in my dream and I feel that I'm Peter, the I in the Peter that is feeling that it is Peter, it is I, is the I that is dreaming Paris completely from a limited perspective. So to say there is no me, there is no you, to me I understand the point, but it is denying the existence of the dreamer, which is the very fact that is allowing the dreamer to be.
I wasn't trying to lead you to anything. I was asking you.
No. I'm speaking that way, but I'm not pointing towards you specifically. I'm not saying,
Oh,
don't take it personally. I'm speaking at
okay.
large.
Mhm.
I'm not saying it. I'm just pointing to when people say there is no you and there is no me, and who is the one, or there is no you who is having this. What they're, from my understanding, what they're really saying is that the sense of identity that you are having, the sense of being a person, the sense of being an individual with a story, with a past and a future and problems, that's an illusion. But the awareness that is aware of this, that's reality. Peter is an illusion. Sophia is an illusion. Paris is an illusion. But the I in Peter, the I in Sophia, is the mind, is reality. So there is something in you that the you is the awareness is reality. But I'm not speaking but not about a me in a brain. The whole universe, it's an appearance. Every atom, every sense of matter, the gravity is the shining forth of the dream. So to answer all of this, to answer your question, which is a very powerful question because it reflects, and that's why I'm very intense, because it reflects two different approach, two different schools that are very powerful, and they are very supportive. But somehow there is a small difference that seems to be very huge when you apply it in your life. And that's why sometimes confusion starts to appear. Because the issue with this, I in my dream, I'm completely identified as Peter. I'm completely I'm in Paris and my home it's in somewhere else, and what do I do? And I'm in completely trip of Peter, right? And someone telling me, Peter, there is no me here. There is nothing here. So I will start I will start try to wake up from the Peter perspective. And I believe that Peter will wake up into reality. But the experience of Peter is the dream itself. So Peter will never wake up. Atea, Ray, Doris, David will never wake up. Because David, Peter, Doris are thoughts. But the point of view from which we are aware of them, that's awareness, that's reality itself. So from my perspective, the only you there is reality. And there's the same you everywhere. But that's very tricky. I don't know if I mislead you even more, or if there is some clarity there. I'm very curious.
So I am a thought.
No, the you that you're saying I am a thought. No, the I, that's the
No, the personality I.
yeah. I mean, okay.
I'm a
there is-
thought. It's not just me having thoughts that are it's not just me having thoughts that I'm believing that's causing suffering. It's that there's a me having thoughts. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that I believe that there is. Let's be more practical, like very direct, without making a reference to a past or a future. Tell me everything about you. Everything there is to know. But don't use the past.
Okay.
Don't use memory.
I have a body.
Okay.
Um, um, I can hear sound.
Mhm.
I can see shapes and colors.
Mhm.
The body's breathing.
Mhm.
I feel a pressure in my chest,
Mhm.
a sensation in my chest. I feel like I'm looking for answers to the question.
Pause now. Look, you see that without the past, patea is not there. There is sensation when you say, I feel my body, you say, there is sensation. Okay. There is perception, you say, I can hear words, I can perceive. Okay. But that doesn't tell me anything about patea whatsoever. I have sensation, I have perception, I perceive color. Am I patea because I have sensation and I perceive color? Patea is a thought.
Okay.
You are not a thought. Do you agree? You are not a thought. Whatever you is, you are not a thought. Patea is a thought.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Mostly. But who am I then?
Interesting. Who are you? That's the question. Who are you? But don't go into thought to answer, because thought doesn't have nothing to say about what you are. And that's what I was telling you to Ray. Thought cannot understand anything, because thought doesn't know who you are. It pretends to, but it always go into memory, always. Because it has nowhere else to go but memory. It has only time. What you are, if you are not a thought, but who are you? And the thought will move slowly to the body. And very interesting, you say, I have a body. Or you say, I am at the body. But after you say, the body is breathing. So after you go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper to the rabbit hole. Because the body is something that you have or something that you are. Something is something that you have, something that you are. Very strange. And then the only thing you know about the body is sensations. Sensations are not physical, they are not inside something. That's why you start to, but the first layer is this layer, but then who am I? Try to answer the question, who am I, without going to the past. I'm a human. Well, this is a thought, right? It's a concept. Doesn't mean anything. Okay. Yeah, but I was born. Well, this is the past already. So you don't know that. It's memory. I have a mother and a father, but this is a thought, this is a memory. And you will see that you start to enter into an understanding that's also very similar to Ray, the question. It's an understanding that doesn't belong into thought. Because what you are is not a concept. So you are real, but Patea is a thought. Just like if I go to dream tonight and I dream of Peter, I am real, Peter is a dream. But Peter is not hiding myself, because Peter is an expression of me, because it's happening in me. That's a little bit the same here. Does it make sense, Ray? Because it was a cross exploration. So that's why group are very interesting for that. That's very good. Thank you, Patel. And just if someone has something to say or to share, I'm very curious.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But I guess right now I'm still just trying to stay out of thought, because I feel like there's a pull to it to try and understand through thought again.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with understanding with thought, but thought it's a logistic tool. If you want to build a bridge, if you want to pay your taxes, if you want to find your home, nothing wrong with thought in that way. But when you turn to thought to answer to who you are, what is happiness, what is love, and how to be happy, thought have no idea how to do that. And the proof, here we are, all of us. So thought doesn't know, doesn't have the answer, but it will always answer. Because if you ask, it will answer, obviously. But it doesn't know. But it will do everything to pretend to know. Do this, go to his work, read this, do that, do this sport, have this diet, go to this country, save this world, save the environment, go to Mars, go to the moon, whatever. And here we are suffering constantly. Thought has no answer. But there is a way to engage with experience directly. And that's what we did with Patty. What we did, Patty, was a direct engagement with your experience that was outside the conceptual understanding and outside the usual way we engage from the person, right? The individual. when you start to engage, that's what I'm referring to when I say engage directly with your experience. Don't use time, because I don't want a delay between what I'm exploring and my own exploration, my own engagement. I want instantaneity. So don't go to time. Don't go to identity, because David doesn't know anything. David itself is a thought. So don't go to memory or future, because you don't need to go there if you want to explore reality or what you are. Here you are. So you don't need in past or future, because here you are. So you can engage directly, right? You don't need any thought about what you are, because if you are what you are, you don't need a thought to explain you, because you just need to see, right? You need to control and to control experience, because you are what you are. So you just explore it. You don't need to try to make yourself into something. You are very simple. So thought has nothing for you on this topic. But there is an understanding that doesn't belong to thought. And also higher understanding, deeper understanding, sensitivity, revelation, or whatever makes sense. And that's what I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling that it's something different. You see how we're not so much into how to be happy, what is suffering, or who am I in an intellectual or conceptual sense. But really, what is this that is here? So exploring who you are is very powerful, and it's a completely valid way to approach experience. It really requires sensitivity, because most of us, when we start to explore, we have the tendency to explore from our confusion, from the individuality.
That was really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. You can see thought have three very obvious qualities that you can perceive. First, it's a sense of time. It will always put anything in time, right? Which is memory. And then it will put an identity to it. It will put as if something is having this. And then it will put choice and control on top of it. So if you're sensitive to this, you see when things appear, you can kind of transcend them and be more sensitive, and you will go deeper and deeper and become easier and easier. So when doubt arises, doubt is often a thought, right? Nothing more, nothing less. If you start to make a whole story about thought, about the doubt, this is kind of that's the attraction, right? But you can use this image of the dream, can be very useful. Like a dream is not big, it's not small, it's not long or short. A dream, it's one event appearing instantly. It's a complete manufacture of my mind right now. But this is the same, but it's way larger. But it's always here. You are always here, always now. No matter the appearances, you know, this quality of sensitivity and exploration is always available, no matter the circumstances of the struggle. It can be a life or death situation or a neighbor struggle. There is no hierarchy in dream. It's just dreaming. So put everything at the same level constantly.
So I guess to tie this back to what you were talking about in the beginning, that's kind of, this is what you meant when you were describing the white canvas of kind of, I guess, who we are in direct experience. The experiencing is the canvas, and the thought is more the images. I don't know. I don't know if that sounds right, but
Yeah, that can be a way. Yeah, but this is the idea is
Mm.
experience is a vibration of my being. Just like the dream is a vibration of my mind. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's difficult to use a word because how do we use word, when you use word, we seem to imply that there is a separation. You know what is a whirlpool in water? You know the whirlpool in water?
Mhm.
So I can say there is a whirlpool in the river, but the whirlpool is not something outside the water of the river. It's just a name that I give to something that looks different. But the whirlpool is the river. There's not a river here and and a whirlpool here and water here. And no, it's all the same. But because I use words, it seems to be different. But it will feel very different because I'm very attached to thought. But the more you see that thought, it's just naming, but it's not really creating any separation. You start to see, oh, but my being and experience is one and the same. And if you explore your experience, that's what you will find. If you explore sensation and perception, you will see only experiencing. You will not find really colors, sensation. You always find some kind of vibration. And when you feel your own being, you feel a vibration also. So it's really, in fact, it's only the white canvas here. It's not really that there is something projected into the canvas. The canvas it's shifting, it's moving, just it's manufacturing its own weird things that is this. But the intelligence and the infinity and the infinite capacity of the canvas to modulate made that you you know it's just everything is the canvas. So you are never really in touch with the whiteness of the canvas because it's so dynamic that this is the white canvas. But the word, when you use it, we imply a difference, but the difference is never found. That's why direct engagement with experience is essential. Yeah. And this is not a theory or a game. This is really a fact of experience, and that everyone can discover for himself. It's not. Uh, reserved to anyone specific. But a very, very few person are very attracted to this. Well, I don't know why. Apparently there is other things more interesting. And why it's important, because the more you start to feel the way your nature, what you are, and the way reality express itself and what it is, the less you suffer. Why? Because you see the implication that thought is implying constantly. You're gonna die. No one loves you. This is inadequate. You are not a good worker. You're not a good father. You're not a good human being. You're not a good day. It's not true. But you're not fighting with thoughts like, no, I'm a good worker because I did it. No, you're just say that's just it's just it doesn't appear. So the experience don't change, but in the sense everything changes in the sense that the implication of the movie is less and less present. And I speak about sometimes, but I speak sometimes about the paradoxical nature of experience. From our perspective, reality it's completely, it's absolutely paradoxical in the sense that we are having an experience. Everyone here can say you are having an experience, whatever experience is, whatever you believe it is, whatever you believe you are, whatever, there is an experience, and you cannot deny that there's an experience, whatever it is, an experiencing. There is something here that is just there's a happening, right? Obviously, but you can never pin down precisely what it is. You see, so it is a fact that this is happening, but nothing really happened concretely. For the mind, if you look, that's exactly what you will find. Of course, my hand is moving from left to right, but if I'm sensitive, it is always moving. I never find a still sensation. Thought is making, the hand is always moving. Even when it's still, when I feel it, there's a vibration within it. Because why? Because sensation is vibration, and vibration is movement. So there's no stillness in the body, ever. If you feel the body, there is movement. Perception is the same. You watch a white wall and you say, oh, there is no movement there. This is movement. Everything is constantly. So there is a happening, but you can never pin down precisely what is happening specifically, ever. It's very strange. So that's why we start to enter into words like, non-duality and strange things. But because reality is very strange. It's not very strange that I know that I experience only the present. That's everyone now, I believe. You cannot deny that you cannot go into the past or the future. You're always here. How come that I feel that time is passing by? What's that? Very strange. You will see, and start to be used to this strangeness, to this paradox, seemingly paradox. The more you are used to this, the more you will feel that you start to disentangle yourself with the logic of the mind. That's unbearable for the mind, because the mind wants a conclusion, right? The mind wants some kind of experience, light or whatever, so it can say, okay, now I get it, now I understand. Okay, now I put this in a box and I can continue with my life or whatever. But yeah, just like that's why the metaphor with the dream is very powerful, and that's why often things can the process can happen in the dream also, and often happen there. There's message in the dream and everything. Because if you take a dream, there is a dream, but the dream never begin and never end, really, specifically. It's kind of weird, because everything is open-ended.
I think a big part of my suffering has been that I thought there was something outside of experience that I had to find in order to be happy. That it was some experience of reality that's true and it's not contained in our experience. So it seems to me you're saying there is nothing outside of our experience. Experience is everything.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah. But can you experience something outside experience? That doesn't even make sense.
Well, that's what I've been trying to do for many decades now. I thought it was outside.
Did it work?
No,
Did it work?
I thought it was outside of experience, that there was this reality, this enlightenment that I just had to find in order to be happy, because everything's happy in enlightenment. Everything is okay. And so it seemed very separate from experience, daily experience. And that, I think that's been very important for my understanding, because that always keeps me in the future. I keep looking for this enlightenment, and I can't be happy until I find it. And now lately, people have been talking about that we are the presence. We are, in other words, the enlightenment. We are the presence. We are the awareness. So that was revelation to me. Then that means I don't ever look outside. But still, I feel something's missing. If everything is just experience, that's so disappointing, because I wanted this experience that would make me happy. That would be the answer. I don't want just plain old ordinary reality.
Yeah, but you are making yourself as an object. Happiness, that's why I tried to convey, but I didn't succeed. But I'm doing my best, I promise you. Is that happiness is not an experience that happened inside Doris or inside Doris' life. happiness is the realization that you are dreaming, that you are the mind that is dreaming. So the dream can continue, but you don't feel you are at peace. I have had those dreams sometimes that there is like it seemed like a nightmare, but when I realize that I'm dreaming, all of the seeming dramas, it's just like, oh wow, it's just suddenly it's still happening. The dream is still happening, but there is peace. There is no emotion. There's yes. And about the word enlightenment, light, everything is illuminated. Do you agree that a thought, that a sensation or a perception you experience right now is known? Do you agree that you experience right now, this experiencing is known? We not enter to who, because it's not, just is known, right? You know your experience. Whatever it is, whatever is happening, suffering, peace, whatever, your experience is known. To know something, it has to be illuminated, right? Just like if I want to see an object, I need light to perceive it, right? I need light, otherwise I don't perceive anything. To perceive your experience, to be aware of your experience, you need you need enlightenment, and that's the light of your consciousness. When you realize that this experience, as boring and disappointing that it seemed to be, is illuminating by your consciousness. Are you aware by your presence? This is enlightenment. You are the light of the world. You are the light of the universe. Maybe the universe is very boring and disappointing from a David perspective, from Newton perspective. But the fact of experience, how can anything be? How can experience be here and be known? That's the miracle, that's the enlightenment.
So there's no separation. And that's my problem, is I have them separate. They're separate. You know, the illumination and the experience are they're not one thing. They're two.
What you are saying is like if you turn on the TV, yeah, and you watch a movie, right? And you are telling me, I don't see the TV because the movie is on. The movie is hiding me the screen of the TV. And I'm telling you, the movie is happening because of the TV. So the movie is an expression of the TV, and therefore the TV itself is really in essence, the enjoyment. The TV and the movie are one and the same.
Okay.
This experience is reality. Just as the movie is the TV. But if there is a car, and I say the the car is reality, I'm not saying like the car is a TV. I'm saying the car is the TV because it is an expression of the TV. It's a modulation of the TV. Just as your experience is a modulation of your own being, of your own consciousness. Yeah. Okay, I will go too. Okay, thank you, Patea. Bye. Okay, I will go too. Bye-bye,
Okay, thank you.
everyone.
Thank you, David.
Bye, Doris. Yeah, bye.